Hey, what's going on, everybody? Kyle here. I wanted to give my intake on the Ryzen CPUs. I want to make a video based on what it's like to go from an 8350 to a Ryzen CPU. In fact, with mine, it's going to be the 1700X. And I just wanted to give you a little preview of how I felt like having the 8350 and my reason and choice going to Ryzen, and then show some benchmarks off to give you an idea of what kind of performance difference there are. Now, like I said, I used to run an 8350. I ran it with an M5 97A R2.0. Then shortly after, I upgraded to the Crosshair 5 Formula Z. And my biggest issue being I wanted to be a content creator. I wanted to be able to create YouTube videos, stream to Twitch and YouTube or whatever platform. I just couldn't do that with the 8350. When the 8350 was out, I had a 6970. Shortly after, upgraded to 290 because I thought it was a video card limitation, especially when playing Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 at the times. But I saw almost no difference. The thing was, I was running a game at, let's say, 100 frames. It felt like I was playing at 30 frames. Even though it would say I'm getting 100 frames, it felt like 30. In the end, I thought this was a monitor issue. I thought maybe my monitors were just a low-end system. The 60 hertz, 5 millisecond delay. Let's upgrade to one of those fancy 1440p millisecond delay, 144 hertz with FreeSync. That was my problem. Obviously, it was, right? I should upgrade to it. It's going to solve my issues. Things are going to be smoother. Nothing changed. It felt worse. And even at that point, yes, I spent money on one. It didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do, which is create content. And what I mean by that was when I wanted to edit a video, any video on my on my YouTube channel that you could see has very, very, very little edits. They have a title card, an end title card, and some minor chops here and there. And to render out a video that was 5 to 6 minutes with that little amount of edits and tweaks done took anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to render. Now, if I noticed something while it was rendering or while it was uploading especially, let's say I finished rendering a video and I'm watching it while it's uploading into YouTube to say, hey, is there any mistakes I made? If I found a mistake or something that didn't render right, I just lost 4 hours of my time. Sure, you'd be like, well, you could render it while you go off and do something. Well, yeah, if I wanted to create content and I come back after 4 hours of doing whatever, that's a huge chunk of time. It killed me. It made me not want to do anything on YouTube or any sort of video creation. So at that point, I was like, well, let's try streaming. There's no editing need to be done. It's just you go live, you try to entertain people, play some games, see how that works. It didn't work. The 8350 couldn't keep up with it. And at the time of the 8350 being out, there was no AMD encoder that worked. Or when one came out shortly after, it wasn't really that great. Like, it had a lot of limitations. And I couldn't do what I love to do. So then it dawned on to me that, you know what, maybe it's time to upgrade to Intel. That's what I need to do. Intel's got the better processors that are out. That's what's killing me. Let's go ahead and let's upgrade to Intel. Well, there's been rumors flying around for a while. This is about 2 years ago, about AMD's new AM4 platform. And I've had AMD for 10 years now. I had them since my first build when I was 14, and I've been using them ever since. And I love both platforms. I just prefer AMD's price points with their performance. I really did, but I felt like the FX series was a big letdown. And even on launch, the FX system CPUs were not what they should have been. It was not that big of an upgrade from the Phenom systems CPUs, and it just really, really upset me. So anyways, we don't have to go any further back. Well, now we're with the Ryzen system, and just the system alone, everything feels 10,000 times better. I can render videos with many, many edits. I have one that I did with my benchmark's going to see. There's lots of edits done to it. Not just edits, but like lots of title cards, animations, lots of effects. They might not seem like, oh, wow, these are very big effects, but there's a lot in the background. And to render out a 2-minute benchmark portion of this video took it less than 3 minutes. Less than 3 minutes. my mind was blown. And I was like, well, maybe it's the new software. New software has probably been updated. It's now supported better. Let me test it on my 8350 system. It would take it 4 hours to render out at 1080p 60. 4 hours. I just was shocked. I was like, this is just ridiculous. 4 hours for something as small as this? This can't be. Well, it was. And I couldn't be happier with my upgrade to Ryzen. And just before I got my Ryzen system, because I do have to mention this, I ended up getting a laptop. I got a laptop with an i7 6700 HQ and a 1066 gigabyte card. And the reason why I bring this up is because I'm putting it in the benchmark. People are probably going to get mad. It's like, well, why are you comparing a laptop with desktop parts? The reason why I'm throwing it in there is because I used my laptop before Ryzen came out for the last probably 6 to 7 months now. I use that way more than my desktop. That's how much I was so upset with my 8350 system. I just wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. I could do a lot of editings on there better. I could stream better. I could just play games better. That's what I mainly want to do. Is I wanted to be able to play games. Playing on my 8350 system, downgrading the graphics settings made almost no difference. I could tweak all the settings all day, all you want. You could set everything to absolute low. Wouldn't feel any difference, and my performance gain was so minimum. It wasn't even worth my time. And I knew Ryzen was coming out within 6 months or so. That was the rumored time. So I was like, well, I will wait. I'm not going to be as much as I want to upgrade now and be like, let's get Intel. I'm going to wait because everything's pointing that Ryzen's going to, even if it doesn't perform well in games, even though lots of rumors and stuff are coming out, you could debate yes or no if it does or not. I'm not going to get into that. My point is to say what I want to do, which is content creation, streaming, editing videos. It does what I need it to do. And that's why I'm throwing in my laptop into this, because I was gravitating towards that and using that because it did so much better than my 8350. And it upset me because I had never cared for laptops. I absolutely despise them because of the price points that they put on them. I think they're very overly priced, especially compared to the performance you get. I think that that is becoming less of an issue as we go on now that technology's really stepped up. They're able to make processors and units smaller with output and less heat, but more power, more performance, I should say. And that's the kind of stuff we need. So I'm not going to get into debate that, but it just really saddened me aside that I was using a laptop over my desktop because that's how much more performance and how much better I was getting out of it when trying to do what I wanted to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these systems. And I totally want to apologize about the cable management here. It is absolutely atrocious. But here is my systems that I have set up here. We got a R7 1700X running at its base clock of 3.4 gigahertz, paired with a 290 Sapphire, 16 gigs of RAM at 2400 megahertz, using the Asus Crosshair 6. We're comparing against the 8350 running at stock 4 gigahertz with the same 290. We got 16 gigs RAM at 1866 megahertz with a Crosshair 5 Formula Z. And on the laptop, we've got an NVIDIA 1066 gig card. We got an i7 6700 HQ running at 2.6 gigahertz, and we got a single 8 gigabyte of RAM at 2133 megahertz. Let's go ahead and watch the benchmarks and enjoy. All right, and there you guys have it. I wanted to show you some older titles as well as some newer titles. I don't have a lot of the newer stuff out. I just picked up a couple new games that I'm going to add to the benchmark here the next time. But I kind of wanted to show with older titles, what kind of performance gains would I get? Is it going to be anything better? Can I hit that 144 hertz if I max out these titles? As well as the newer titles to say, okay, what kind of difference am I getting? Is it really CPU bound or is it more graphics card bound? What kind of difference will we see? And like I said, the reason why I have that i7 in there from the laptop, again, is to show more of a personal reason. Like, why was my laptop outperform my desktop? I just want to throw it in there to go, finally, I got a system I can be proud of. I'm using my desktop again, and I can't wait for Vega and the 500 series cards to release. Now, one thing it's not showing is the smoothness, how things felt amazing. Like I said, when I played on the 8350, it felt like no matter what frames were being shown, I could say 100 frames, it felt like I was playing at 30, no matter what. And I did not like that at all. It was horrible to play at. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. It just made me feel like I had a really cheap, low-end system. And like I said, I just didn't like that. So I ended up testing with the Ryzen and immediately saw the difference. I just was mind blown. So what I'm going to do is make a follow-up video here in a few days showing the frame timings between the 8350 and the 1700X to kind of give you more an inline of why this is running smoother. What does it feel like? What's it actually doing in the back end? Because I could have thrown in saying, hey, this is the minimums I run at. Well, the problem with that is if there was for half a second that something went wrong, the benchmarks would show, say, hey, your low was 2 frames. It could have been because of when it could have been because of when something showed. It was loading a new part of the benchmark. It recorded that as a timing, was like, oh yeah, you got no frames. So that's not fair. I want to show you the frame timing to give you an idea. It kind of will show you an overall graph of the performance and how it would feel personally. And I wanted to kind of end this with the thoughts on what I think of Ryzen. I think Ryzen is great. I think it's absolutely great. If you are a multimedia content creator looking to really step up and be able to do more, I can without a doubt say this has been probably one of the best purchases I've made. I absolutely love it. Being able to edit videos so quickly with the amount of edits and effects that I do and render them out so fast is just mind-boggling, and I just love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm so excited to have my 1700X, and I just really can't wait to see what AMD does in the future. But if you guys did like what you saw, please do like and subscribe. Share this around. Please, please, please leave in the comments your thoughts on what I could do different. What would you like to see? Would you like me to benchmark other titles? Would you like me to show you something else? What other kind of videos really would you like to see? I'm hoping I can bring out more videos kind of talking about Ryzen to come in the future. I also would love to talk about Intel side and video. I want to talk about all of them. I want to show what's coming up, what technology's doing. That's what I love. And now that I have my 1700X, I can do that without being held back by that performance of the 8350. So I just want to thank AMD for really sticking their guns to it, coming out there with something that shows like, hey, we're back in this game. And please, 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 AMD, continue to do that. That is what makes technology so great nowadays, is when we have companies battling back and forth between each other to outperform each other, to do better, to beat prices. It helps nobody but the consumers. It really does. It helps all the consumers out there. Doesn't matter which side they go to, whether they're an Intel, NVIDIA, or an AMD user, they will get the benefits. So again, thank you AMD for these Ryzen CPUs, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with the AM4 platform. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and let me know below what you would like to see next. Thanks.